Hello, this is Sean Copeland, Chairman and CEO of Regent Bank, bringing you another edition of Regent Elevate, and we are going to continue our discussion on how to create a performance culture. Now, we're not only talking about a culture in which people love to come to work, although that's very, very important. We're talking about one that also drives results. So how do we do that? Last time we talked about the importance of having a very clear vision of who you want to be and having a set of core values that you hold the organization accountable to. That will get everybody moving in the right direction, no doubt. But step two, I think, is even more important than that, and that is you got to hire the right people. We all know that no matter what programs, what core values, what vision we have, it's not going to happen if we don't have the right individuals on the bus, as they said in the book Good to Great. So how do we do that? First and foremost, it's critical to take our time. This may mean that you need to staff up a little bit. A lot of times organizations are so lean that when they lose an employee, they've got to grab the first warm body because they have to replace it really, really fast. I don't think that's a good idea. I think what happens is you end up just hiring mediocrity over and over and over. Howard Putnam, my friend at Southwest Airlines, their former CEO, talks about the fact that it was harder to get into Harvard than it was to get into Southwest Airlines. They would interview and test you and talk to 1,000 people to make one hire, and that was one of the keys to their success. And I think you got to take your time when you're hiring. Number two, I think it's very important to utilize employee testing programs. Interviews only go so far. References, they're going to give you the best people that they know. Nobody's going to give you a bad reference. So how do you really get to the core of the person? What's important to them? What are their values? Are they a self-starter or not? Employee testing programs can really do wonders to determine their personality and really their makeup. Number three, hire for attitude first. A lot of times we'll hire based upon resume. So we'll hire for experience and, well, they've already done this job, so we're going to hire them to do the same job. It's most important that the person's attitude fits with your organization, that they are like you, that they mirror the values of your organization. So hire for attitude first, skill second, experience third. Four, this is very simple, but I think you got to pay to get the best. If I understand in a small business, sometimes you don't have this luxury. As a business grows, my experience has been you really cannot overpay for great people. You're better off paying at the top of the market and getting the best in the market as opposed to trying to find the cheap way out and pay lower. I just have found over time that the performance and the results that come from outstanding employees always give you multiple returns based upon paying just a little bit more for their salary. And then finally, this is the big one, you got to correct poor hires quickly. Now, this is difficult. Caring is our number one core value at Regent Bank, and we don't ever want to put anybody on the street. We don't ever want to put them in a tough spot. But one of my good friends that runs a bank in Kentucky said, I told my employees they will never have to work next to a low performer. And if you think about that, there's a lot of wisdom there. It's not fair to the employee that's doing a great job, going above and beyond, working very hard, to have to work around people that are not pulling their weight. It's demoralizing. It causes them to not want to work, harder and smarter. And so it's very, very important to have a culture in your organization in which you are caring, and you don't surprise people when you let them go. But if they don't fit the organization, you make that change very, very quickly. As we all know, it's good for you. It's good for the employee as well. If they're not a fit, they're not enjoying being at your organization either. So I think those are the five keys in my mind to making good hires. Take our time, utilize employee testing programs, hire for attitude first, pay to get the best people, and correct poor hires as quickly as you can. Now, next week we're going to talk about the importance of onboarding and how it's so critical to get people enculturated into your organization quickly and on the same page, and to be very clear about your expectations, and how that will truly help you to drive a performance culture. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we'll talk to you next week.